Hello everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another BB gun tabletop review for you. Today we're looking at the Umarex Colt Python 357 CO2 BB Revolver. And again, this is my full tabletop review for this pistol. There will be a shooting or field test review later on, so make sure to check that out as well. So let's get right into the specifications. This is pretty much an all-metal design gun. It has a 5.5-inch smoothbore barrel, uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges, shoots 4.5 millimeter steel BBs, so no airsoft BBs in this pistol. It has a 6-round cylinder with removable brass shells. We'll show you those later. This gun weighs in at 2.75 pounds or 1,218 grams, and it shoots in single and double action with a claimed FPS of 400 feet per second. You'll also notice it has the Colt licensing through Umarex. That's because it's a replica of the Colt Python 357 Revolver. This gun is made for Umarex out of Taiwan. And I'll really quickly touch on that. I say it's made for Umarex, not by Umarex. It's distributed by Umarex because I really don't believe this gun is actually made by them. A lot of companies do this, so don't get upset about it. Many companies go outside of their own factories to get these guns produced for them. And if they hold the license, like in this case, Umarex holds the Colt license, they can then get that license put right on the gun through the other factory. So this is why I believe this gun is made by KWC. Here we have the KWC brochure, and you can see the exact same gun here, okay? You'll notice there's no licensing on it. That's because KWC doesn't hold the license. So they do have it in different sizes. I'm pretty sure Umarex also has it in different sizes. If not, they'll probably have it in different sizes at some point. At least they have the option to do that. Okay. As you know, KWC makes some pretty nice guns, so this gun's going to be a good gun, I would imagine. Like I said, it's all metal. Just quickly want to show you the box, okay? Nothing too fancy here. So there's the Python 357. Some specifications there, 400 FPS, 6 rounds, swing out cylinder, full metal, adjustable rear sight, steel BB. Some more information here on the back. Shows you the speed loader and the included cartridges there. Again, same information pretty much that was on the front, on the back there. So it does come with the speed loader. Here it is. Yeah, I'm not really going to show you. You put your shells in there and it just makes it easier to load the gun. You can just load them all at once. Probably familiar with how speed loaders work. It also comes with a manual, of course. Warranty information. How to load it. CO2, the shells. I did notice the shells are pretty firm at first. Probably need a little break-in time, and that may have affected the actual FPS, because if it's really tight, it's going to bind or hold the BB a little bit more longer before it releases it, and that could affect FPS performance. I did actually get quite a range in FPS performance. I think once these shells break in a little bit, that might even out. So when I do my field test shooting review, we'll see if it's any different. At this point, I'm going to compare the Umarex Colt Python to a few other very similar revolvers that I have here. Let's move it over a little bit. Now this gun here is the Crosman 357. It's more of a Smith & Wesson copy, but you'll see it's very similar, right? Everything's very similar. Now this is mechanically a very different gun. It shoots pellets. It's got more plastic in it. It has this sort of cylinder here that's, you take it out, it's got a sort of a breech, or you open the barrel by breaking it. Okay, and you have this plastic magazine, hard to do this on camera, with more shots, but it shoots pellets, rifle barrel, quite a bit different, but in terms of looks, very similar. Next up, we have another Umarex pistol here. This is the TRR8 327, and it is another gun sort of like the Dan Wesson in how it opens up here, but you'll see that you have the loading shells here, these brass shells. And I'll show you the shells on the next gun in comparison with the Colt, because they are a little bit different. This is an all-metal gun pretty much, same mechanical mechanism. You'll notice this sort of Dan Wesson-y style has a little bit of wiggle here, right? you'll find this gun, because it's from KWC, from a different factory, doesn't have that. So mechanically it's a little bit different too. Not the same factory. Heavier gun. This gun has more weight to it for sure. Alright, so I do want to show you the last one. Here's the Dan Wesson, very popular. I just have my 8-inch barrel version here. It's the right color. There are 6-inch versions, 4-inch, 2.5-inch versions. But again, this is the Dan Wesson, a little bit of a sloppier hammer. You'll find though, these, let me show you this. Look at that. There's like no wiggle. Very tight. The tolerances are a little bit better. How you open it's a little different. I want to show the shells real quick here. Don't want these to fall everywhere. There it is. Okay, so let's look at these shells. You'll notice right off the bat, one's a little longer. Right? So the Colt Python has a longer shell. The front part is also longer. Okay? And it's a different shape. It's a little more cone shaped. Alright? And the back, if we can get this to focus, the actual rim of the shell is thicker. Right? So that's going to affect it a little bit. You see that that's even bigger. The hole's even bigger there. So I'm reluctant to try the Dan Wesson shell out in the Colt and vice versa. I may just do it for fun during my field test because I've had people asking me about that. But they are a different shell, right? They're going to fit different. And I'd say that the Colt is actually maybe even thicker. Look at it. It's thicker. So maybe they won't even fit. Heck, we can try it. Oh, look at that. Doesn't even fit, okay? So it's a thicker shell. This one might fit in the other gun, but it's going to wiggle around, and you'll see it doesn't come out the front quite as much as the other ones. Alright, so I wouldn't personally want to use those shells. They're not the right shells, so don't use them. Alright, so at this point, let's do a quick walk around, really show you this gun up close here. Show you the licensing. Okay, there's your Python 357. Right. We'll go with the top later. We'll just show you the left side first. Okay, so you have the ejector here. You can eject your shells all at once. Pretty nice. Okay, by the way, this little part here is what helps create the seal. And it's not quite as springy as the Dan Wessons, and because of that, the trigger and hammer pull is better because you're not trying to have the cylinder force itself around as much because that spring is a little looser. That gives you a looser hammer, less draw pull. It's just a better hammer trigger system in my opinion. Alright, so you have your Colt insignia there. All metal. This gun, pretty much assume everything's metal other than some of the parts on the brass shells there, and the grips aren't going to be metal obviously, but trigger, everything, frame, outer barrel, inner barrel, everything's metal. So this is your grips. They are a harder plastic. They look like they're rubber, but they're a little bit coarse. Okay, you do have the CO2 screw in here. It's a little tough to thread, but once you get it threaded, it's no problem. So just make sure you don't cross thread it when you're putting it in. It does come with an Allen key in the box, obviously. I do want to mention this. This is your safety, okay? So safety on, safety off, back. Let's just show you that again. And you do have this little safe and fire, okay? So safe. So you can put it in safe. I'm going to put it in safe now. Like I said, it's single and double action, but there is CO2 in this gun, so I got to be a little careful. There's no BBs, but I'm not going to assume that, so I want to be a little careful with it. Alright, there's your ugly ugly Umarex markings, and I've had people in the UK say we don't have that on our guns. They brag about it. That's cool. Happy for you guys. We have to have it, I guess, because it's distributed through the US. Maybe it's a bylaw or something, or some sort of law. But we have the F again. This is for the German market. Caliber 4.5 mil. Colt again, right on the gun. And we have license trademark of Colt Holdings Corp. Now the rear sight, get this in here, see it, is adjustable for windage and elevation. So got your up, got your side to side. Okay, there's your sight picture. No white dots or anything, so black, dark backgrounds are going to be a little tougher to shoot on. Very narrow gun. It's not bulky, but again, very, very heavy pistol. overall. I'd say it's probably very similar in weight to the real gun. Alright, in terms of performance, I did get a chance to go outside and do my pre-test. Again, I will be doing a full field test shooting review for this pistol. This is just sort of my pre-test. And you can see here, pretty close to a 2-inch group. Top and bottom was a bit high. Left to right was within an inch. So horizontally, you're looking pretty good. Vertically, we had some range up and down. And we were a little bit low when you look at the bullseye. Now the sights are adjustable, so that's not a problem. In terms of feet per second performance, this gun's claimed feet per second is 400. We got a high of 420.9, and then it was kind of all over the place. 354.3, 392.5, 364.7, 371.8. And I believe part of that is due to the fact that these shells are not broken in. So when you put the BB in, I noticed it was rather tight. And as I shot the gun a little bit more, I was doing a bit more shooting, they did loosen up. So originally I did my chrony test right at the beginning. That may have affected the feet per second, and it may have affected this vertical track, because faster bullets are going to be a little higher, slower bullets are going to be a little lower. I did want to mention again, the trigger is really quite nice on this pistol in both single and double action. So it doesn't really matter how you shoot this gun. If you're slowing it down a little bit, you're probably going to want to cock that hammer and shoot it in single action, but shooting double action quickly, you're still going to have a nice trigger pull. And overall, even though it doesn't have white dot sights, it felt pretty good. As long as I was shooting on lighter targets, the sight picture is actually very nice when looking down them using this revolver. Alright, let's get into some of the pros and the cons. Now, like I say, with all of these style of guns with the loadable brass shells, hey, it's a revolver with real loading shells. Gives you that feeling of loading a real revolver without having to spend all that money on actual shells. And I do get people asking me, can you reuse these shells? Of course you can reuse these shells. You don't want to just use them once and throw them away. 6 shells, 6 shots, that would be very expensive. You can buy more shells and preload them if you like, but you don't have to throw them away. I like that this gun is mostly all metal with a really nice overall weight, close to 3 pounds. There's lots of detail, including the licensing, of course. It's really well made. The fit and finish seems very good overall. Now, it did have a claimed FPS of 400, and I was really close to that with at least one shot going up and over the 400 FPS range, and the day that I shot this gun on was not that warm, so there's definitely more potential for a little bit more FPS out of this revolver. Now, the accuracy was very good, and I imagine you're probably going to get close to 100 shots out of this revolver. The Colt Python 357 also has a fully adjustable rear sight for windage and elevation. The CO2 screw is well hidden. The front of the barrel is nicely recessed, which gives it that more realistic look. And again, the trigger pull in both single and double action was very nice. Couple cons, not too many. The grips are a bit rough, but not a big deal. And the all black sights, even though they worked well for the targets that I was shooting on because they were white and lighter colored, if you shoot on a dark target, it's going to be a little tougher to see without any white dots on the sight at all, or fiber optics. And again, the FPS seemed to fluctuate quite a bit. That might be due in part to the tightness of the brand new brass shells I was using. Hopefully that sort of works itself in over time. Alright, I want to thank you again for watching another Replica Airguns tabletop review. Don't forget to subscribe before you head out, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Also come down to our ReplicaAirguns.com website, where I have a bunch of articles, posts, reviews there for you, including one for this gun with additional photos. And you can buy this Umarex Colt Python 357 in our Canada store right now. It'll also be in our US store shortly, so check that out. May even be there by the time you watch this video. I'll put links in the description and links over on the written post over on our website to buy this revolver. If you're interested in something else, we have air guns, BB guns, pellet guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, knives, and other accessories. So check us out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.